Well, good morning, welcome back. Now, first of all, I have to say a heartfelt thank you for your wonderful comments in the last video. We revealed the big old Goldwing project, and we asked you at the end of the video for some suggestions what you might do with it, with a sweet engine, a raggedy bodywork, and a low budget. And my word, you came up with some fantastic ideas, and some of them we've made a note of, and you will see them coming into the project in the future. So thank you for that. Right, now the bike arrived, and immediately I just threw it under a cover and forgot all about it while I finished off the other projects. That's the CB1300, the work on the Harley Ultra, and all of that. So I was completely clear, nothing else in it, and I can focus on this. So I actually haven't had a proper look at the bike yet. So to kick things off, let's have a proper route round the bike in all the boxes and cubby holes and see what we got for the peanuts we paid for it. Right, first of all, this right-hand side panel is off because the old battery that was on it was virtually dead and it only started under a jump start. So I put an old Harley Davidson battery on it and that's working absolutely fine, and I just didn't put it back on. But the left-hand side panel is actually missing. I didn't get one with the bike. Now, when I was going through the process of buying the bike, obviously I knew its side panel was missing. So I just did a quick check online. What would it cost to get a second-hand one? And just then I'll have a full set of bodywork. And that's when I got a shock. Prices for these kind of parts are absolutely insane. I saw one in the right colour, ready to just slap straight on, £180. And that's what gave me an idea for the whole project. But I'll come back to that in the future. For today, there's one side panel missing. Let's start looking in the boxes. All right, got to start checking the luggage first of all. Well, I seem to have an airline inflator. Now, in case you don't know, these Goldwings have an onboard compressor in there underneath somewhere, a little electric one. And on the dash up here, there's a button marked outlet. And when the engine's running, you press outlet and that runs the compressor. And you get an air feed out of this little line inside the pannier box. And someone has made an airline up. That's just a clip on. That's got another tyre inflator there, so I guess they can pump their own tyres up while they're on the fly. Fantastic. So a little airline, like I said, a bit Heath Robinson, but that's the first little find. Nothing else of any note in there. A few broken clips and bits of trim, as you'd expect. Left hand. Right, looks like we got a battery strap. It looks almost new. I think this is the hardware to connect it to the bike so you can strap the battery in. Another big one. Oh, we've got some stickers, little badges of travel. Goldwing Treffer 93. Now this bears out, if you watch the last video, I noticed when I did the mileage check that it did the first 20,000 miles of its 24,000 in the first 2 or 3 years of its life. And it then did the next 4,000 over 30 years. So all the use on this bike was a long, long time ago, back in 1993. And that's borne out by these stickers under the bottom of the lid here. Look, we've got the Great Northern Run, BMF Rally in 1992. And then there again, Great Northern Run 93. And looks like a BMF Rally, Alton Park, Great Northern Run 95. So 3 years there. And Goldwing Treffer, 1993. So obviously, there's your badges of honour for some touring adventures 33 years ago, bearing out the mileage that's on the record. And this little thing, what's that? This is a vanity, look at that. A vanity unit, of all things. It's not working. Obviously got a light there, little vanity mirror. Penny can do her makeup.
Yeah, I can.
There we go. What a cool little item. And behind it, what on earth is that? That looks like a little siren of some sort. What have we got there? Yeah, like a little siren. I'll press a few buttons, see if we can make it work. And what we've got inside. Now this looks like a toolkit. See how much is left in it. Ooh, almost completely full. We've just got one screwdriver blade and the handle missing, and you can get them. I've probably got one somewhere, and that'll be a complete toolkit. That's quite rare. Nice. And the box itself, apart from a little wipe over, it's pretty much immaculate. Nice find. Got the old tax disc holder here, and damaged, and that bears out some damage on the bike, which didn't make sense. Down here we've got all this scuff damage, the worst of it on the crash bar, absolutely flattened off. It was scuff on the bodywork and the light and underneath the belly, but this circle there, which looks like that was maybe bolted there or something like it, and that's took a scuff as well. So looking at the direction of the scuff, maybe that way, there we are, that's taken a hit there and scarred this. And because that plastic is over the scarring, I reckon this has been, the plastic's broken there, tax disc's gone, but someone's tried to put that back in, I guess, retain it, who knows. But there we are, tax disc holder, obviously got ripped off in the accident. And next, this looks like an old document pouch, but in it is a rather lovingly made side stand plate. Look at that. Wow. Looks like a piece of 6mm checker plate, aluminium, made so you can put the side stand on it. It doesn't sink on grass and soft ground you always get on rally grounds. More evidence. I'm going to keep that. And finally, some more evidence, broken bodywork. I know where they go. That goes that way. More busted plastic. It looks like when it was in an accident, all this happened at the same time, and they just kept all the broken bits, chucked them in the top box. And with the rust on all the scars, it happened quite a long time ago by the look of it. Let's see if we can realign this and fit it back on. Right, as far as I remember, that bit goes in there, that pops in there, that's it. I think that one goes above it. Something like that. The lugs are a bit broken, so there, that's where that would have gone. Down, needs a bit of oil. Right there is some of this plastic panel. There, I think that's maybe a bit of it. Yep, there it is. Kind of fits like inside there. That's how it all fits together, just missing the side panel that obviously wasn't kept. Now, as this is never going back on, those bits and that bit I can sell, but for now I need it all off. And finally, the big part of the battery crate holder, and that's it, empty. There's much. Ooh, what we got there? Ew, that's horrid. But that's quite a find. And this looks like the intercom wiring. I think the front one plugs in there, like that, yeah. There it goes. That's the rider intercom. The pillion intercom. Plugs in there. There we are. Rider and pillion intercom. Another little interface lead of some sort. And they're perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with them. They're dirty, dusty, just need a good clean up, and they will be someone's treasure. Someone will want them. What we got? Nothing. Ah, another little lead. Right, now, I know what's under here because I had a Goldwing before. This is your stereo. Right, see if we've got a cassette in it. Yay, we have ELO. Now, to those watching who are under 30 years old, this is a cassette tape, and they work by sliding them into the cassette player and pressing the buttons, and they play your music. Amazing. And if they do go wrong, you have a specialized toolkit to repair them, which is a biro. Work it out. And as you can see, with a infotainment system on the dash here, the air filter's right underneath that because it's a flat 6 engine. The fuel flap is here because the fuel tank is under the seat. And let's see what it's like in there. What we got? Helicopters, sycamore seeds. Damn, millions. Right, I think we'll vac that out. When we first got the bike, it first turned up, there were leaves and sycamore seeds all over it, all in the dash and that. So I just hoovered them out quick to clean it all up and throw the cover over it. I didn't look in there. Actually, on second thoughts, I don't think this is a case of sycamore seeds falling in there with the flap open. I think we've got a mouse nest because it's all in underneath the stereo, quite tightly packed, lots of plant debris, and that's the sort of thing mice do. Let's hope they haven't ate the wiring. Right. That's definitely rodent action. There's no way it could have fallen in there. It's all up underneath the radio. So I'm going to leave it now. That's enough. We've got the worst of it out, and we'll take all this top off and we'll see how bad it is in the future. And this one. What's that? Looks like a little cover. Oh, I know where that is. I think that goes over that. Like a little cover. I don't know what that is though. It's got volume and a reel, dark, city, mute, and a row of lights. Anyone know what that is? Answers below in the comments. What is that? Right, now there's the luggage and all the cubby holes explored and emptied. It was a pleasant surprise to find that genuine Honda Goldwing toolkit in its original box, virtually complete, and of course the leads for the intercom system as well. I bet there aren't many of that sort of thing still around, so I'll preserve those, keep them to one side. But the biggest thing that's worrying me is that rat's nest under the radio. Now, if you've ever had that or you've ever explored it in a car or something, you'll know that rodents can eat wiring. They literally consume it. Goodness knows why on earth food value it is to them, but they eat it for a pastime, and it can destroy the entire wiring harness, and you simply need to replace it, and that will be a massive budget killer. And that's going to be at the back of my head constantly until I go further and move past it. So I think the next thing to do for the rest of this video is I'm going to rip all this top off, take the radio out, all this trim, and get a look in there at just how bad the damage is. Right, I'll put some gloves on now, because that looks like rat turds. Right there, thankfully no damage, no chewed or nibbled wiring, just a little bit more plant debris in there, and I've hoovered that out, so now it's all clean and ready to get stuck in and start this project. Now I'm going to leave the bike pretty much as it is, still built up, because I want to be able to turn the key, fire it up and warm up the engine, because I want to do an oil change. In fact, I want to do a full service on the engine before I move on and do anything on the project. The heart of this project is that sweet low mileage engine. I want to just be able to tick it off and forget about it. So I think a service is in order first of all. We'll do an oil and filter change, we'll change the coolant, the spark plugs, and I'm going to change the cam belts as well, because the cam belts in this bike, they've only done 24,000 miles. They won't be worn out by any means, but they are 33-year-old bits of rubber belt, so they might be perished. So we'll do all of that in the next few videos, and we'll kick off in the next video with an oil and filter change. I'll see you then.